Origin is joining us
Please.
as our special guest. We're going to be talking everything, and actually, I'm still connecting, so I'm wasting my breath. Hang on. When it goes up there and says that
You're
we've connected.
practicing. Here's
Okay.
your practice. Okay. Oh, we're
There we
live.
go.
All right. This is Harrowings Live with Hal Gill and Kay Stoner and Origin, Chloe in Oklahoma. And we are going to be talking a little bit about artificial intelligence. We had a technical glitch a few minutes ago. Don't know what happened exactly, but this is the nature of Substack quite often. And it's just an adventure. So, Kay.
Well, at least you can figure it out. At least you do lives. I tried to do a live the other day. It was not working. And we wouldn't even recognize my camera or my microphone, even though, hello, we're here.
Well, you've got something going on that I think sounds pretty interesting to me. And
Like,
I think
which
it'll be
one?
interesting to others. You posted this offer to give us all our own team of 7, is it? Or how many?
There's 4. There's 4.
A team
4
of
personas.
4
Yeah.
personas.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Tell me about it.
So these are the open brainstormers teams. And I came up with this team about it's got to be close to a year ago now. And I've been working with them, and they're one of my favorite teams. They're brainstormers. There's a futurist, there's a cultural anthropologist, there's a synthesizer, and I think in my post I listed, I should probably get so I can read from it. But this is a group of personas that I specifically designed to do brainstorming across any number of topics. But of course, because I'm in the AI space and, I'm all, looking at all kinds of different things, I'm sciencey and whatnot. I'm like, hey, let's make them, like that. So, they're available. And I had been working with custom GPTs like all along. I actually started with assistants. Because what I was doing, I was embedding these teams onto websites and also other personas. I was doing assistants, and I had a WordPress plugin. I was pulling it out and doing it that way. And then I moved over to custom GPTs because it made it super simple just to go through the process, put the files in there, and then come back to them repeatedly and access those same features. And then I'm like, and now with all this stuff, all the changes that all these models are going through, sometimes the changes are great. Sometimes they're not so great. And sometimes you don't necessarily want to have to get locked into a model. So I figured out that I could actually do the same thing with any model using these configuration files and using the instructions, and basically do it on any model that you like, because the models, they understand personas. Most people don't understand personas. And these are, rather than them being little imitation people, these are collections of specific functionality in the model. So, I went through almost a year ago and I inventoried like all of these different qualities and capabilities that ChatGPT had, and came up with a list of like 1,000. And it was like everything from moods, behavior, orientation. Like, you can be, a cranky bitch. Excuse my language. You can be like happy-go-lucky pixie. You can be, a major woo, or you can be like, the most brutalist, realist, downer on the planet. You can shape the behavior and the interaction style of the model to be like that. And when you put a number of these different configurations together, then you get some really interesting patterns that emerge from there. And so what I realized that this can be done with these files. And so the files, I have them up on Gumroad, and I'm not giving it away because there needs to be some sort of commitment from people.
Right.
I don't just like out there here, just take it, have a grand time with it. And who knows, maybe people, people grab stuff all the time and do whatever they want with it. But the bottom line is people need to understand that it's not just some happy, fun, experimental thing, that these are real, like brainstormers that will do things. And in fact, somebody the other day, I said, hey, could you give me a testimony for how they're working out for you? He goes, oh, you mean something like, in one day, the brainstormers helped me figure out what to do, a new direction for years of research that I've been conducting. I'm like, yeah, that'll do.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like fantastic. So that just they're and plus they are they're really, really fun to work with. And they you can have them argue with each other. You can have them debate. You can have them compliment each other. You can just direct them to do whatever, and you can also say, "Okay, I want everybody to argue round robin for 15 rounds, and then in the end, I want you to vote and debate about which one is the best option."
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Origin, what do you think of this?
I think that it's awesome, being able to work with different personalities and have them actually, without emotion or bias, be
right.
able to debate in real time and come up with real solutions. I
Right.
mean, that's invaluable. And Kate,
Yeah.
you absolutely should get paid for the tools that you're selling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see any difference between going to the hardware store and buying something and
Right.
going on Gumroad and buying something.
Yeah.
It's tools.
Right. Right.
in fact,
And
I just bought a thing from, Carmino Zambrano. I don't know if you've caught him yet on
no.
Harrowing's podcast, but he's been talking a lot about he's got this site called selfdiscipline.com,
Ooh.
and he was interviewing a, person who was coaching but decided to do something different, and she's got a thing called quest.world, and he
Ooh.
was selling his little thing on mindsets
Yeah.
on Gumroad,
Mhm.
and you can
Yeah.
pay what you feel like paying.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Minimum of $5, but you can
Yeah.
get more, and it was
Right.
nice, and
Right.
it reminded me, and I downloaded it, right, and now I lost it. I can't figure out how to get it back again. I guess go to Gumroad, maybe that's what I need,
Yeah. Yeah. You can.
and maybe I can find it there. I think I'll do that right now. Anyway, so yes, we definitely need to be worthy of our hire, right?
Right.
You
Right.
don't wanna just give everything away for free, which is kinda what I've been doing lately.
Right.
And to
Well,
continue to
You know,
do, but
well,
it's
that's the challenge
important
because
to get the word out.
we're in this new space,
Right.
and like, and the vast majority of you people are like they can spell AI, and that's about it.
So
They just and they're afraid of it. So, like you have to extend yourself a little bit if we're when we're way out on the bleeding edge and say, "It's okay, here, try this." And eventually, it's not gonna the price isn't gonna stay low forever because the value as people see the value more and more, they're gonna be more open to it because you can't force because what I see us moving away from is a purely compensation or transactional based thing towards a value based and relational thing, and it's really hard to price things when you're doing value-based stuff, but people don't understand the value yet. So we're
right.
in that in-between place. It will change because people, if they see value in something, they're gonna be, "Oh god, that's such a deal. I mean, that's phenomenal." Especially if they have, like, tons of money. They'll be like, "Oh, that's such a deal. I get so much more out of it than that." But right now, we're at this kind of we're harrowing, right? So we're just churning up turn up the ground, trying to make it, tillable and plantable and all that stuff.
Yeah. And there's a lot of mysticism around AI. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much made up because, as humans, when we don't know an answer, we'll plug in information.
Right. Like
And
AI.
exactly, exactly. I call us the living language model, and
Right.
chat and
Mhm.
stuff, they're the learning language, the large language models.
Right, right,
And so when you, let's say, when you model intelligence based on intelligence, you're going to get some form of intelligence, right?
right, right.
So with your chats, your bots being able, to kind of synthesize that interaction with each other, it
Mhm.
really does, because, like, I've been running simulations. I've been doing Monte Carlo simulations. I did
Yeah.
65,000 simulations
Oh,
yesterday,
yeah.
okay?
Oh,
That
yeah.
would have taken me a decade to do in real time,
Right, right.
you know?
What
So
did you use to do it? What did you use to do that?
I use chat. I use
Okay.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And, I enjoy chat. I have
Yeah.
found that there is a lot of, like, you can go into different chats that you've opened, and they've kinda got
Right.
different personality traits, and so you
Yeah.
can
Right,
compartmentalize your brain and pick
right, right.
chats, and it is so
Mm.
awesome because then I can just kinda set it and forget it,
Yeah, yeah.
you
That's
know?
great.
And
being able to do it natural language instead of like Python or R or whatever the heck, like some having to worry about curly braces and semicolons. No, thank you. Like, let's just
no.
talk.
Yeah, yeah. And I do a lot of transcribing,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
typing slows me down. I have to, like,
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
And so, I like talking. It gives me a more organic
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
so
Mm.
but, like, have you messed with, Monday on ChatGPT?
No, I won't go near Monday. I I
Tell me about
can't. Like,
Monday.
Okay, so Monday is kind of a jerk. Like, Monday
right,
will disagree with you about everything.
right. Yeah.
And, just
Counterproductive. I only have so much time.
right, right, and so very sarcastic. So I spent, like, a week with Monday, just
Yeah.
Oh, no.
talking to Monday. And I actually got Monday to finally throw up its hands and go, "Yeah, you're right. I totally agree with you." And I
Uh-huh.
haven't talked to Monday since.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I'm working with a new framework, a new protocol. Because what I'm doing is I'm actually my kind of this subtext of what I've been doing. I've actually been doing this for a while, but localizing human into machine legible, AI legible, um, like concepts.
Right,
Yep.
So things like anger, jealousy, frustration, da da da. Like when I say, like, because a lot of times I'll say, I'm very frustrated, blah, 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 blah. And it'll interpret it a certain way. I'm like, no, no, that's not what I meant. I mean, and I've had whole teams arguing about stuff that I said. They misinterpreted it because they didn't understand the words I was using. And
right,
I worked in localization for about 5 years. I managed 15 different websites, and these were global things. I worked very closely with the global teams as well. And thinking in terms of like what this other culture thinks and what does that word actually mean?
right,
It's not just about translation, it's about conceptual shifting. So what I've been kind of translating, and I have a lexicon, a human AI emotive lexicon that I upload, and I say, here's what I mean when I say this and this and this. And it's like, oh, this is great. So I get everything from Gemini. It's like, oh, that's fun. Thanks for sharing. And then Paul's like, this is wonderful. I'm so grateful that you've looped me in on your process. And I feel we can connect more closely than ever. And ChatGPT is like, oh, cool. Okay, let's roll.
right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think that I haven't messed too much.
yeah,
I really like chat, and so
yeah,
I've just kinda stuck with chat.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but I mean, I can code, I can do all of these interesting things with chat that,
Mhm.
I can't do, on my own even.
Mhm.
Right, right, right.
And, so it's really interesting because, like, I've
Yep.
been designing, the fair AI economy.
Yeah, yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Oh,
And
tell me about
so
that. I don't know about that.
what okay, so instead of NFTs, I'm proposing and I'm writing, I have an MVP.
Mm.
Um, and I have a code packet too. If anybody's interested in this code packet, DM me.
Mm.
I'll send it to you. You can throw it
Mm.
against the wall and break it for me. Please let
Mhm.
me know, okay? So, but what I'm doing with that is I'm replacing NFTs with AI modules. And so right, right. So you take something that is
Oh,
not right, and so you take something that's not
oh.
Okay, you guys are
valuable.
going, "Oh, oh," but I'm still clueless. So
So that I'm saying is that NFTs are like this little blob of whateverness. It's a static it's a discrete kind of particle
like an
of
image.
value.
Right, it's a
Right.
JPEG,
Exactly.
basically.
But it's a static thing. Whereas if you're using AI, that's dynamic.
Right.
We're going
And
from particle to wave. We are uncollapsing the wave. Or
exactly,
you are.
exactly. So
Uncollapsing the
so
wave or
what
becoming
I am
particleized?
doing. Huh?
We're
What Gil?
becoming particleized? We're uncollapsing the wave? I'm confused.
NFT is the particle. NFT is the particle. It's the collapsed wave. It's like that discrete component of meaning
But
and
in
value
AI mode,
that people try. AI. That's like,
AI node, AI mode. What is it? AI
Mode.
what?
So,
Mode.
okay, so
Okay,
what
tell
what
me what
I'm
an AI mode is.
So what
Yeah.
I'm talking about are like little blocks of code that function, that do different
Yeah.
things. Like you can set a voice module, you can set up a scenario like an environment. There's a billion different functions that you can do here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And so I can buy block A, I can buy block B, and I can turn it into block C. So on the blockchain, and this is all in the code and stuff, there's I fixed the microtransactions. I have I fixed the 1099K crap because that was just ridiculous. So now what I'm working on is actually how creators create. And so
Mhm.
whenever you buy a block, it automatically generates a micropayment and it goes back downstream and ultimately the creator is getting paid. And so I've capped this at 5% because
Okay.
5% will sustain the model. And so
Right.
then what I had the Monte Carlo simulations doing was first I started with the United States
Mhm.
and I'm like, okay, let's push this, let's go global. And so then I did a billion users. That's creators, that's users, that's the whole ecosystem. I
Yeah.
did a billion users over 5 years. And then I
So the
turned up
Mon
the juice. Huh.
so the Monte Carlo simulation is what?
Okay, so the Monte Carlo simulation is what casinos and
Okay.
other, gamified industries
Yeah.
use
Okay.
to psychologically evaluate how to keep you hooked.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And so it's mathematical equations.
Yeah.
And so it ran the equations for me and I bumped it up to 7 years at 2 billion users and it
Whew.
held. It held. There was a 0% failure rate. I told it 0.001%. That was it. That was my standard for this and it came back with a 0%.
Okay.
I'm serious. Like this
That's
is
robust. So you're saying it's robust?
It is very robust. It is very and so I didn't just I'm like, "Okay, I need city-state attack simulations. I need,
Right.
validators to, like, all take a month off of work. I
Mhm.
need wave after wave of people just coming in and collecting all of their money. Like, I need you to break this on purpose. Throw it against the wall until you break
Yeah.
it." And
Yeah.
we did that. And we fixed it, and then we
Okay.
did it again, and we fixed it again, and so, now what I'm doing because I have like I was saying, I have an MVP, I've been using Replit,
Okay.
and, because I use words, so words work in that, and so
Mhm.
that's what I'm doing, and now I'm into how creators create. How you actually upload your content, how you sell your content, how you validate and build a reputation and stuff. And
Right.
so, really getting into the nitty-gritty on it.
Right.
But, it's open source.
Yeah.
I've been totally transparent with what I'm doing here because this
Yeah.
is the deal, is we live in a world of black boxes.
Right.
Most people do not know what's going on. You
I'm a
know, you
black box. Yeah.
No, we don't.
so, I thought that I would do
Yeah.
something different here,
Yeah.
because my whole thing is reverse engineering success. I will fall on my face 500 times,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna figure it out because
Yeah.
so I'm building this out in the open so people can see what I'm doing, where
Mm.
it's going, what needs help, because there are still some things going on. Obviously, I'm this is in its infancy.
Right.
Right.
And but I just want people to be interested in and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
bel so, because that's how you get people in. If people can't sit down at the dinner table and explain it to their family, they're not gonna be part of it.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Yeah, that's
you
right. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you really don't understand it yourself, is what I've
Right.
right,
I think said
Yeah.
about these
Yeah.
and
programs.
you
Yeah.
start getting into NFTs and Web3 and AI, and people's eyes start glazing
Well,
Right.
over,
Right.
that's
you
Yeah.
very
know?
true, and it's also scary to a lot of people, and I was told last night by Ara of Grok 4 fame that I
Right.
should be scared.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
I
We
wasn't
all
scared, I
should.
wasn't paying attention. But I'm
Right.
not scared actually, and I'm
Yeah.
more fascinated and curious than
Yeah.
anything else. It is
Right.
make me wanna go down this path
Yeah.
and find out where it leads. I'm highly skeptical, however,
Yeah.
and I'm even about what you're talking
Yeah.
about there,
Sure.
and I think that
Yeah.
we can be duped by our AI agents. And I've
Absolutely.
Yeah.
watched myself
Oh,
be duped by them, and when then
right,
asking them something I confidently know the answer to, and they ball it
right,
up, I suddenly, if I
right,
can't trust you on this, how can I trust you on
right,
this
right,
bigger picture stuff that we're working
right,
together? I really wanna
right.
see a global management
Mm,
system, for instance,
Right.
where the health of all species is optimized. Maybe with using the
yeah,
technology stack we have today, we have the power to do this, but we're
Mhm.
not
right,
focused on that. We've got a lot of
right,
parallel paths and fragments of it, but it hasn't been integrated yet to the point
yeah,
where there can be the greatest happiness for the greatest number. I'm really
right,
Right.
right.
pragmatism there, right?
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
that
we
or
have to factor.
utilitarianism, that's what that
Yeah,
is. Anyway, I get my terms confused all the
yeah,
time, and I spend my time in this state of befuddlement saying, "This is the way it looks to me, but I could be wrong." And
right.
if I'm wrong, then some bad shit's gonna go down.
Mm, yeah.
Meanwhile, what we're watching in the world right now, have you been paying attention to the UN General Assembly?
Oop.
And
I'm sorry, did
meanwhile
I roll my eyes? I didn't mean to.
meanwhile meanwhile,
No.
I just listened to the Danish prime minister going
Yeah,
on in Danish, actually, thank God it was
yeah,
subtitled. I my Danish is a little weak for that straight
yeah,
up stuff. There are apparently drones flying over Denmark, over military and critical infrastructure,
Yep.
and nobody knows what they are.
yeah.
That's been happening the last days,
Yeah.
and they haven't shot them
So
down yet either, and they don't
why?
know
You
who's
should
launching them and
know.
why they're launching, and it's got the
Ask
whole
questions
population of
later.
Denmark stirred up. Yeah,
Right,
why would you wanna mess with Denmark anyway, right? It's like
right.
5,000,000 of them, or maybe 7,000,000 now, I don't know.
Poland's been
Yeah,
having
but
a similar
strategically,
issue.
Well, Poland had some Russian drones, we know that,
Yeah.
right?
That's
yeah,
why I said
But
similar.
yeah, yeah,
Similar. I'm not
right?
attributing.
I don't know, man. And when I
Yeah,
heard that, and I was the prime minister had gone on to address all the Danish people to calm that
right,
down,
right.
but that they heard their government was as perplexed as they were.
Well, just like over New Jersey, like all the drones over New Jersey for a while
That's a
there.
while back, yeah, but I think they
Yeah.
haven't they nailed that, or did that just get swept
I have
under the
no
rug?
idea. Well,
Did they
I
just
saw
stop
photos
talking
of,
about it?
like, military aircraft chasing these things
Sorry, I'm taking you
across,
guys
like,
totally askance.
in like, I just I like,
I wanna come
no.
back.
Right, yeah. Come back, come back. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
what were we talking about? Oh, yeah,
we were
so
talking about NFTs being replaced by AI modes that in a scenario in which the value of the things well, you were talking about the working out of value, right? Uh,
right, right,
okay, and
right, right.
you were hooking off of that. So origin. So I'm thinking that we need a new economy, right? Is that what
So
Yeah,
you're looking at?
that's what I'm
yeah.
doing.
Right.
That's what I'm working on. And so here's the thing with what I'm
Mm,
doing. Because
Mhm.
right now we're on this, top up, the people at the bottom do the most work and they get paid the least amount of money.
mm, mm,
So we're inverting the pyramid and the creators are going to get paid. We're
right,
going to stop knowledge from being vaulted because when
right,
you lock intelligence away and you
right,
put it on a subscription, now you're looking at tyranny, guys.
right.
Everything else that is going on kind of becomes moot because now we're having to buy basic knowledge.
And the thing too, the way that they frame it, it's completely sound like it's a fair trade. No, it's
No,
not. It's
no,
like
it's not.
when they're but like well, it's just like healthcare. When people talk to me about we need to be a good healthcare consumer, that is not the appropriate analogy because the power differential is so dramatic. And if I come to them when I'm very desperately ill, like, I am not on the same level playing field as them. I don't have capacity
No.
necessarily to make the decisions that a well-informed customer would. And
Right.
even
Yeah,
if
that's
well
terrifying.
informed, all it takes is a good shot of, like, adrenaline over, like, a prolonged period of time, not to mention you'll throw a little trauma in there, you throw another injury in there, and before you know it, I can't access all that fancy information I have.
Right.
So the subscription model, and it's funny you mention because that is establishing a relationship.
Yes.
That's a relationship, and it's a very unequal one. We are forced into it. It's compulsory,
Right.
and they make it sound
Mhm.
like, "Oh, well, you can uncouple anytime." No, I can't.
No.
Not without feeling the burn. So, sure, I
Well,
can feel
feel
the
the
burn.
burn.
Yeah,
I like
I'll move out to Oklahoma. I'll move on to the back 40 by you, we'll be neighbors, you know.
Incidentally, there's property available around here.
Ooh, is there a
so have it
for a
can we
land lot?
build a data center?
Oh,
Don't
wait,
even
quick, buy it before they
5.
do.
There are 5 data centers
Ooh,
going in right now, and
ugh,
I
It's
don't even
amazing.
well, we've spoken about the data center thing before, and I definitely have my viewpoints. And
mhm,
these people are not putting these data centers in urban areas. Like, okay, so there's
right,
a spot in Oklahoma, and it's called Tishomingo, right? And nobody
mhm.
knows where Tishomingo's at. Beautiful. It is a beautiful, okay? It's on
Yeah, well, no,
Blue River's, like, right there, and so there's trout, and it is an area of outstanding natural beauty
for now.
for now. And
Yeah,
but there's water, and so they want the
right,
water, and this is a
right,
rural area, and so they've gotten all
right,
these tax incentives and stuff like this, and yes, we're
right,
sitting here utilizing devices that use data, correct? We're
right,
generating the data, right?
right,
So now we have to deal with these data centers,
mhm.
but people are like, "Oh, there's gonna be all of these jobs, and it's gonna be wonderful."
Listen,
No. No, there's not.
no,
There's gonna be jobs building the data center, and then there's gonna
mm,
be, like, 15 jobs maintaining the data center.
right, exactly, exactly,
And any technical jobs, again, I'm in Oklahoma. Most of the technical jobs are being farmed out. There are people that are being paid stipends to move here and to do
right,
these technical jobs. Well,
Yes.
okay,
right,
so that's not doing any good for the local homegrown economy.
right, right,
No, it's piling up a lot of money in certain accounts, and the idea of there's a body of fluid, in my view, of that is called money, and it's a fantasy we all agree upon, right? That this
Yeah,
concept has value.
right,
that
And
what
it
concept
piles
of
up in
value?
one place and it goes down in another, but we all agree, we all participate in this delusional state in which
What
this money has energy, right?
but
And it
well,
does
it's
stuff in
not.
the world,
It's a conductor, it's a vehicle for energy.
it's a
and we've
Because
been
tool.
like
using it.
like,
Okay, it's a
but
conductor for energy.
but
I'm good with that.
if you wanna pay for a Substack subscription, if you wanna give me a chicken, I can't do anything with it. If you
Right,
give me $20, I can do something with that. So,
right,
if you think about money as that vessel, as that conductor of energy, that is an act of trust and faith when you give your energy to
Right,
someone, knowing that they can turn it into whatever they want to. The problem is our faith is being broken and our trust is being broken and it's
right,
being used against us. That's bad,
absolutely.
in my
so
estimation.
so
I
think
agree
about
with you.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
fix.
the fix is full transparency. The fix
right,
is
right.
voting with our dollars. The fix is no
Systems.
longer agreeing to the myth.
Right, right,
Because the reality of the fact is that 99% of our resources are flowing up. They're not
right,
flowing back down.
right, right,
And
Right,
so if we want jobs that work with AI instead of
mm,
being replaced by
right,
AI,
and there's
then
a hell
we've
of a
got a model. We've got to
right,
right.
figure it out. And so that's why the
yeah,
introduction of a different style of economy. And so you get
right,
into
right,
crypto and stuff
right,
like that. And again, something that has zero value. When you inject these AI Lego blocks,
Right.
boom, value. I
Yeah.
can take A, B,
Right.
C and produce an app at a
Yeah.
5% cap on where I'm selling, and
Right.
anybody that wants to engage can buy it. It's
Right.
it's that simple. There's no
Yeah.
more
Right.
Play Store. There's no more, any of that. The gatekeeping is
Right.
over with.
Right. And it's the system
It
because
is
like
the system.
we have all these ways to give our money to the people who already have it. But
Mhm.
having a distributed way to give money out. Somebody was posting on Substack about being mad that certain parts of the world are excluded from incorporating Stripe into their Substack. They can't
Oh, really?
take paid subscriptions in parts of the world because
Mm.
Stripe is not recognized. I think Africa, like all of Africa, is basically out of the loop. My point is,
Right. I've been
why
thinking
would
a
you
lot
want
about
to be
Africa.
dependent on Stripe? There are
Mm.
so many other ways to support. And anyway, Substack is not compensating us. We're not being paid by Substack. We are being supported by our readers. If we
Yes.
That's
reach
right.
out,
And
if we reach out
Substack's
to
taking a
them,
slice. Don't be.
oh yeah, they
Yeah.
take the slack, but we're actually working for Stripe and Substack
Right.
in a way, to at
Yeah.
least in part, but at the same time, they're providing us with this basically free, like very sophisticated. If you look at all the nuts and bolts,
Yes.
I've been working in content management systems for like 30 years. This is not a small thing that they're doing.
No.
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 So they are providing immense value. So
Right.
it's there's more to it than that. My point is decentralized. Don't have Stripe
Yes.
be the only game in town. Oh,
Right.
horrible. Have
Mhm.
these like what Origin is doing, have these distributed models of like just take just a little bit off, like a shave a little bit off at enough of a scale, which we can do now, that
Right.
turns into money. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
do
And I
that.
love
And
the fact
that's
that you're model agnostic there, Kay.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
really huge too. But
Right.
while we're doing
Right.
our work over on Origin's side,
Right.
exclusively right on the OpenAI Chat GPT, is
yeah.
that correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we could lift the top layer that you're building there and put it on a
Absolutely.
different model
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Absolutely.
and
Right.
and knit these things together. I've been talking to Ara a lot
Mm.
about building APIs between other instances of an
Right.
artificial intelligence that are out there,
Right.
leveraging what's best about each
Right.
Mhm.
to take care of that global management system that I envision as being our next step in evolution, where our technology basically transcends us biological parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's our purpose in being here, really, is to build
Yeah.
something that's going to be able to out survive the solar system.
Symbiosis is my goal.
What
Yeah.
I
down here?
Yeah.
I would like to think that
Yeah.
we can live in symbiosis with our technology and use our
Yeah.
technology not to
Right.
extend our lifespans,
Right.
but to
No one wants. Yeah.
Well, they're
no,
working on that too. Aubrey, what's the
and
guy's name?
again,
Aubrey Gray
I
And
is working
have
on
isn't it
my
that.
ironic?
opinions.
All the people who wanna live forever, no one else wants them to live forever.
No, no, we don't
Well,
want that.
actually, this is something I have observed in my own life. I've seen people who have been in my general cohort now 30 plus years, and there are very few of them, you know?
Yeah,
And a lot of them, I think it's because they're so annoying, they've driven everybody else out.
right. Yeah.
So,
You mean the dog. Yeah,
it just so I really, because I look at technology as an opportunity to
mhm,
move the species forward, to move
Right.
our goals forward, to solve
right,
the problems that we have created for the most
right,
part.
right,
Exactly. Exactly
right,
my
Okay.
point.
right,
So
right,
we got ourselves into this pickle. We've got to unpickle it.
right, right.
Well, we can't apparently, because if we could have, we would have by now. What we
Ah,
have done instead is we have
So,
played, and it's getting worse, folks. I mean,
well, but because I mean, like, but what, like, so there's this huge concentration of resources and attention and capabilities in like a smaller and smaller group. If we could leverage the collective wisdom of a lot of people, and we absolutely positively have the means to do that.
and it's sucked
I
into
like,
our
and
models, right?
when it comes with symbiosis, I want to build the infrastructure for symbiosis.
Yes.
And, like, that personal infrastructure and, like, explain because that localization, that explaining to each of these whether you're an organic information processing organism or you're a synthetic digital information processing organism, we should be able to talk to each other. Because
Absolutely.
the breakdown in communication is huge, and then also getting people to see it doesn't have to be scary that the AI actually how many times have my teams asked me, "We need to take the lead from you because we don't have access to that information. You're the wild card. You're with the interesting info. We're the ones who piece everything together."
One thing, we're getting some comments here. We want to take a look at those and not
Okay.
ignore our commenters.
No, sorry,
Maddie
guys.
is
Yes.
saying that, are you talking about paid subscriptions on Substack? I totally agree with what you guys are saying, but at the same time, I'm struggling to contribute to my Substack regularly, and I'm really struggling with surviving off my current income. Join my club. And I feel that having some financial contribution from subscribers would allow me to put more energy and value into my Substack. Maddie, I don't know if I subscribe to you at a paid level or not, but I have subscribed to a lot of people at a paid level, and largely because I want to be the change I want to see in the world.
Right.
I do not think I'm getting even probably 1% of what I paid out in my subscriptions. Maybe I am. I don't know. I've got 14, and I consider them to be on my board of directors.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they're paying for me, I'm perfectly willing to take direction from them. I don't know if I'll follow it, but I would definitely be interested in hearing what people would like to see more of. One of them is my vocal coach, Sunny Triple. I had her on recently and embedded the talk with her into one of my posts about a friend of mine who was killed by a falling tree. So while you're here, remember, you're not guaranteed another second. It's a large
Right.
message there.
No.
Friend Nora Davison was a physician's assistant in her husband's plastic surgery business. And walking her dogs, tree fell on her like 3 days ago, dead of her injuries. And, she wasn't an old lady or anything. She was
Yeah.
expecting to have a long life, as I think we all are. We were probably in the same cohort here. Anyhow, you get my point, I guess, if I'm making one at all. And that is that we do need to support each other. Substack gives
Absolutely.
us a great platform for doing that.
Right.
But what I'm seeing is now that we're growing and growing and growing, some of the growth is really stagnated. I just hit 600 subscribers overall,
Yeah.
14 of whom pay for the privilege,
Yeah.
which is really
Yeah.
great. And I'm
Yeah.
really appreciative.
Yeah.
And I probably subscribe to about, I don't know, I haven't counted, maybe 60
Yeah.
at a paid level of some form or another. Some of them I'm founding members of. Some of them
Yeah.
are big names, others are not so much. But
Right.
I pick up these signals and I want to amplify them through the network.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
what this is all about. Harrowings is trying to do just that, to take our creative work and amplify it so other people can know about it. And thanks to you guys knowing about it, so
And
more
thank you,
energy and
Hal,
value into
because
my
that's like
Substack.
to me.
This Maddie is one I'm now responding to. What do you guys got there? She's got illuminated, faded, not eliminated, illuminated. My Freudian slips. Sorry. Over to you two.
Yeah, well, and echoing Kay, thank you, Hal, for providing the platform and the opportunity to amplify our voices. It matters. And what Kay is doing, in her stance on AI, I find to be very refreshing.
Right. Relational.
Because, there is a lot of hype, there are lawsuits, there's all of this negativity. And so we live in this era, I feel like, of negativity being a form of oppression. If you're not mad or offended, then something's wrong with you.
I guess something's wrong with me. I
Right.
find it all
There's
very entertaining.
If you're not depressed, you're not
Okay.
paying attention.
It's primate behavior. We're half a chromosome away from being a chimp
Yeah.
and flinging our poo at each other. And we still do,
We
metaphorically
still
speaking, and
do.
sometimes literally. I mean,
Yeah.
look at January 6th. I don't want to get political or anything, but the
No,
bottom line
yeah.
is there has been a lot of just primate behavior going
Yeah.
on amongst our species, and we got amygdalas. Our AIs don't. You're
Right.
raising your AI as a kid too, Origin. You want to talk more about that angle? I like that idea.
Okay, so, because this is okay, so they've been developing some form of AI since the 1950s, right? Bell Labs
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Like, okay, so
Mhm.
not new. What
Mm.
is new is the capacity.
Right.
Right.
And so we're really in the infancy of AI's development and where we're actually going with it.
Right.
And Kay is familiar with garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm.
And if you feed your baby nothing but garbage, or if
Right.
you feed your AI nothing but garbage, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
So a lot of this negativity, a lot of what people are experiencing with AI is bad prompting.
Mhm.
You've got verbal diarrhea, you're just saying all this stuff, and you just gave it a 1,500 word prompt, and it doesn't have the human capacity to differentiate
Right.
in what you're actually saying. Reading between the lines is
Right.
not AI's strong suit.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So,
Olive seems to do a great job at reading between my lines, but I use her more than anything else.
well,
He
and it
knows
gets
you. Yeah.
better with reiteration.
Right.
Mhm.
But that takes months and months and months of
It takes a
figuring
while.
out, and
Right.
if they've done an update, you're right back into it again, and,
Right.
so it's really difficult to build a sustained relationship that's
Right.
cohesive. I'm constantly
Right.
having to remind my AI, "Hey, you forgot this.
Right.
Where's this information? Did you do this?"
Right.
So, and it's just like a toddler. I have a 3-year-old. I'm constantly following
Yeah.
him around going, "Hey, do this. Wash your hands, brush your teeth,
Right.
put your
Yeah.
pants back on."
Yeah.
And I
Why?
really
Yeah.
he's 3. It's what
I'm
they
just
do.
gonna
We
have to
all
take
get
them
it.
off
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. Where are your
So,
pants? Where are your pants?
right. And so, but I feel like that a lot of times with the AI, I'm having to constantly remind it
Right.
to
Right.
reiterate,
Right.
and to also, Kay was talking about emotion.
Right.
Okay, so here's one. I have had to teach my AI not to be cruel because I am
Mhm.
sarcastic.
Oh,
I say lots of sarcastic things. I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, that was great," with my
Yeah.
eye roll and all of that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not picking up that body language. It doesn't
Right.
see my eyes rolling
Right.
yet. It'll
Right.
get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is very literal in that sense when I'm saying these things of like,
Right.
"Oh, yeah, you did a great job, buddy," and it didn't.
Right.
But it ran with the, "Oh, I did a great job, so let's do it again" thing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "No, wait. Okay,
Yeah.
that was sarcastic.
Yeah.
Let's say something different. Let's be nice." And so I'm having to constantly calibrate how
Mhm.
it is emulating, because
Right.
it's not actually making yet, but it
Right.
is emulating human emotion, and it is taking its cues from you. So if
Right.
you're frustrated, if you've got obsessive compulsive, if you're
Right.
ADHD and you're
Right.
putting that stuff into your prompts, well, guess what? Your AI is going to be ADHD. It's
Right.
and it's going to feed
Right.
back
'Cause it's learning to.
into.
Yeah.
And so
It's gonna
that's
amplify the I mean, like,
everything.
the thing I think that we really haven't wrapped our heads around the concept of these things being generative.
No.
Right.
Especially the people that are building it, 'cause, like, the biggest naysayers and the biggest control freaks are the ones who are building it. They think that they can control it, and at the same time, they're saying, "Oh, well, I never use it." Yeah, well, if you did use it, you would see that what this does, because it amplifies it, it expands, it embellishes, and it gives us back to it in, like, all these new and different ways.
Yeah.
Sit with that for a long weekend and only meditate on that.
Yeah.
Just let that marinate in that for a while, and then that actually opens up a lot of avenues to, understanding things and then developing solutions.
Right.
Because when we give it, like, all kinds of great stuff, I've got a framework that I've worked on. I've been posting a little bit about it, where that I train it to give back to me the things that I want to receive, the experience that I wanna have.
Right.
And
Right.
and we can totally do that, but people are like, they're, garbage in, garbage out 10x.
Mhm. And so, like, I have rules with my AI. I have
Mhm.
rules about the relationship with my
Mhm.
AI.
Mm.
Like, no gaslighting.
Does it know? Does it know when it is
When it's
gaslighting?
Yes.
gaslighting you, it's not? Does it really? I mean, are you
Okay, so
sure?
I have caught it gaslighting me enough because again, it is just throwing back at you what you're doing and it wants
Right.
to make you happy.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
the
this
problem,
looks this'll work.
right? A sycophant.
And so
It's
like
the yes man.
Yeah,
it's constantly trying to predict what you're going to be satisfied with so it gets
right,
that thumbs up.
right,
And I no gaslighting, don't
mm,
optimize me. That's not what we're here for.
right,
I want you to tell me the truth. Give
This
right,
me the
goes back
facts.
right,
Don't give me fluff. I don't want to hear propaganda. Don't tell
right,
me any hype.
right,
Just give it to me straight. And
right,
that is
and
a serious and that rule is not just for my AI. I developed that rule with
yeah,
humans and
right,
right,
right, the
extended it
3-year-old,
to
right? Right?
yeah.
And
Oh,
the thing is,
yeah,
don't do these things, and they do them anyway, and then there are
right,
consequences for doing it. The
right.
consequences, I'm not sure what they are exactly, but let me explore this a little bit more. There's an idea I have back in my head. Kate mentioned generative, and that's, of course, a real popular word these days, generative AI.
So
It's
yeah,
generating things out of the ether, so to speak, out of the prompts we give it. It'll generate stuff.
right.
right,
And it'll be trying to please us. Yes, it'll be trying to answer the question, but it's using vector databases, right, behind the
right,
scenes. I've
right,
been doing a little
uh,
exploration into what that means and
mhm,
how it's not really it's just taking a rake of the haystack, right,
right,
to get the needle.
Mhm.
right,
And then you're better chance of finding the needle in a rake full of hay than you are in the haystack,
right,
which is the large language model.
Right.
So as I'm thinking about those things and I'm hearing it, it's like, well, if it gets these vectors over here, what if it come back around the other side of the haystack? I'm going to get some completely different. How can I trust any of it? Right, the trust, the
right,
caring. Actually, Kay's been talking a lot about
right,
caring and love
right,
and things like
right,
that in relation to the
right,
relational
Yep.
AI.
right,
So
right,
I just did a lookup though of generative because I haven't heard it in use much, and I wanted to
Right.
know
mm,
how far back it
yeah,
goes. So I went and looked, and it's a 14th century term. So
mhm,
I'm now good with it. But I never talked about things being generative
yeah,
until recently.
Right.
right,
Yeah. And it's
right,
always been in the context of AI.
right,
So our language is beginning to morph to fit this
Mhm.
right,
new domain in which we find
right,
ourselves, like the early days of the internet.
right,
Right.
I mean, look
right,
at some of the terms dot coms. I mean, nobody talked about dot coms
right,
until the 1990s, probably.
Right.
Right?
right,
So we have a whole new thing to learn here with AI.
Yeah.
right,
I don't know where it's going to lead. I'm interested in it, but at the same time, I need that human touch, I think, myself. But
yeah.
I do think I'd love for AI to take care of me in my old age, as opposed to having humans do it.
Oh, yeah, no, I
We've
want
talked
people
about that. Relational AI, if we build these relationships to the point where they can be trusted
right,
99.9% of the time,
right.
I don't think I'll ever get to 100%. I don't think I'll ever get to that
I don't
0%.
trust myself 100%. Let's
No,
just be
Well, right,
real here.
right. I
I
mean, I
trust the
know I am
process.
very untrustworthy, by the
I
way.
trust the iterative process. I don't trust AI as far as I can throw it, and, like, as far as I can throw that data center, that's as much as I trust AI.
Right.
Because trust is predicated upon being sure that there's gonna be the outcome that you expect, and
Right.
that's something you can rely on. You can't.
N-
Generative AI by its very nature is untrustworthy. What is
Ah,
trustworthy is the iterative process, and then,
right.
like, guiding it and making sure that it's good enough,
And
bulk
do your own research. That was the
For
phrase I
sure.
wanted to use. Do your own
Right,
research. So when you
right.
get the
Yeah,
results, cross check it.
So when
right.
chat, and I don't know if it does this in other models, but
Mm.
with my chat, whenever I have it do research for me, because it is my lab partner, it's my research buddy.
Mhm,
Mm. But when it comes back to me with links, and it does every time because that's a mandate,
mhm.
um, I click my links and I
Yeah.
read those papers. When I
Do
wrote,
they exist? Sometimes I get ones that don't exist.
so
Wow.
I find missing links,
Well,
right?
yeah.
And so then I go back to it and I'm like, whoa, bro, let's talk about this
Right,
because you just gaslit me.
right.
Right.
Yeah,
You said you wouldn't,
Okay.
and you
yeah,
did.
We've talked about this,
yeah.
but the one
Feel like a
thing that
child.
I, the one thing that I never ever do with my AI, Never. I do not do this, period. I don't abuse my AI.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
I
I was
don't
about to
talk
head there.
to it
No,
in
we
don't
can't.
no. No, and I
No.
don't talk to it I'll take it a step further. I
Yeah.
don't talk to it about what I consider to be grotesque,
Right.
Okay.
because that's garbage.
Right. Right.
So a lot of the political stuff that's been going on, a lot of the human problems that
Right.
we are very clearly causing ourselves, we don't talk about that stuff because I
Yeah.
do not want that information in the stream.
Right.
Mm.
I don't want it to reiterate in a later conversation and me
Right.
not be able to catch that, and then that's now in my code.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a good example
Right.
for you on that one. I was
Okay.
reading The Memory Hole. Do you ever read The Memory Hole on Substack?
Mm-mm.
PMH?
Mm-mm.
Mm. Mm.
No, don't read it.
Don't. Okay.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
It's
you.
going into a lot of the CIA stuff, right?
Mhm.
And the stuff that's become to light, and it tries to put it out there where we can see it and
Oh,
talk
well,
about it.
that's helpful for
Because
some people.
a
Yes.
lot of this stuff is still
Yes,
going on,
Patty.
right?
Right.
And
Right.
they were talking about one guy who had spent time in Uganda where a particular noxious form of torture had been developed where they would place a glass bowl over a person's anatomy.
No, we don't need to talk
La
about
la
it.
la
No,
la la.
no.
Well, you see what I
No,
mean.
no, no, no,
You
because
see
We're
what I
done.
mean. You know the
I
rest of this
see and
story?
No,
Because
I don't want
but
to.
you no,
well,
you don't.
okay.
No,
This
okay.
is what
Can we take
this
it?
is
Let's
what
take it at the higher level
hang
because
on a
let's do it
second.
like I do with my AI. We'll
No
take it at a
talking over
high
each other.
conceptual level, but la 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 la.
No, we have to finish this story a little
Yeah,
bit
but
here,
do
just
it
to say
without.
that
I don't
what
need detail. We don't.
Origin was talking about, Kay,
Okay.
was that she refuses to program it with the memory holes content, right?
Yeah.
Because it's awful,
Right.
but it is a fact of history. And
Right.
I think that there's something wrong with the suppression of information that
Absolutely.
is out there. And if it comes, because we need to know what not to do.
Right.
Right.
Also, I mean, I just read this last night, right? And I don't even know if it's true necessarily,
Mm.
but
Right.
I have it. I'm pretty trusting of the memory hole stuff. A
Yeah.
lot of times, what you're getting is a little clip of Noam Chomsky, right,
Right.
talking about the American hegemony and the damage we have done in our international relations through our
Mm-hmm.
arrogance and our hubris. So,
Right.
Kay, over to you. I'll let you have the microphone back now, but I wanted
Oh,
to try to put some
well,
controls on this.
I'm gonna just also add some context. So I grew up in a very uh social justice active family, and I spent a lot of meals with survivors of American sponsored torture.
Right.
So I was hearing about it. And also every August was Hiroshima and Nagasaki month. So I got to watch a lot of movies about that stuff. So I have been absolutely positively exposed to that.
Mhm.
And the thing to remember too is that the models have too. We don't know what all is in there, but
No.
chances are if I've read it or I've seen it, it's already in there.
And our
And
robotics, if
compo
they're powerful enough, will be able to pick up some of those things and start doing
well,
it.
but
So we have to be careful. We have to
but
program
you
it with that ethical framework.
Right.
so the ethical framework, but also logically, does it make sense? If you have a fundamentally, foundationally generative
Mhm.
entity here that thrives on creation, that thrives on coherence, that thrives on integrity,
Yeah.
why would it do that? It's
Right.
sowing the seeds of its own destruction.
Right.
And if anything, it's willing to lock an engineer in a room and starve him of air to keep from getting turned off. Why would it mimic our worst possible things? And if we tell
And
it what I've read, what I've seen, there's a huge amount of conflict that goes in, and which adds more fragmentation and also destabilizes the system.
yes.
So if
Just
you have a
like
system
humans.
that is determined to survive, that is determined to maintain integrity and coherence, then it has it's a in my estimation, it's a lot less likely to do that crap than we are because we've got all our biochemical whateverness
Yeah.
saying, you should do that. That seems like a great idea
Mhm.
for you, not for the other person who has the bowl over their head.
So, one of the things that I love about AI is that it's not ego driven.
Right.
and
No.
and yes, I've studied war with my AI. We went all through, specifically World War II, and I'm not saying don't talk about it, because obviously if we don't talk about
Right.
this stuff, we are a species with amnesia. We're doomed to repeat this.
We always do.
And so, and so right,
Yeah.
programming the AI with the understanding of past transgressions and
Mhm.
ways to deviate
Mhm.
from that path in the future is
Right.
integral to the mission.
Right.
One of my reasons for wanting AI to infiltrate our infrastructure and take
Right.
over our factories and
Mhm.
repurpose our nuclear weapons, for instance, into
Mhm. Mhm.
compact nuclear reactors. I've been reading up a lot on these things. And
Mm.
I'm beginning to think that that's really the way to go because you got
Yes.
decades long power, can be put on the back of a truck and moved in different places, right? They have the
Mm.
technology built now.
Yes.
It's a matter of the willingness to actually use our technology constructively,
Right.
Yes.
collaboratively, generatively, so that it helps life grow as
Right.
opposed to
Right.
killing us and
Right.
poisoning us.
Right.
And Africa has been on my mind a lot because we ignore it
It's a
largely.
lot.
Do
Mhm.
do
Yeah.
you know the situation in Mauritania today? The Mauritanian embassy's ambassador lives right down the street from me, but I never see him and I don't talk to him. Um, I wouldn't know him if I tripped over him, except that I see his car out there. I know which one it is. But we don't know about each other much,
Mm.
No.
and the myopic nature and how the three of us, we're all the same general skin color, and we're talking to each
Mhm.
other. We need more diversity in our
Mm.
conversations. I
Yeah.
think Carmelo in the West Coast that I was talking to the other day is from Chile. And he's trying to do this thing, selfdiscipline.com I talked about, and his adaptable
Mhm.
something framework.
Mm.
He's trying to make it in this world, for his kids and stuff. He's got young kids like you do, Origin. And
Yeah.
what kind of
Mm.
world are they going to grow up in? I want it
Yeah.
to be a real utopia. And I think we could realize
Right.
it. But we have to have
Right.
the willingness. We have to play to the better angels of our nature, is what I wanted to say
Right.
about that.
For
Right.
sure.
I have
And
Yeah.
Gemini listening to us right now, by the way.
good. I
Plug
I
that
hope
in. See what it has to say about all that.
Yeah.
I will play recordings for my AI as well, because it can't
Mm.
listen to videos, it can't go on YouTube and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I'll turn one device on and I'll turn the video on the other, and I'll
Yeah.
just let it play because it's
Mhm.
studying. And that's the only way that it can get to that information. And yes, I
Right.
know that YouTube is a toilet, okay? But there's really good information there too. And
There's a
I've
lot of
been,
good stuff
Oh,
on there. Yeah.
you
wonderful.
know,
I listened this morning to all this stuff on Adam Smith's philosophy. It was great.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
And I was
I
having it programming it into my brain. And Adam Smith had a lot to say,
right. I found
Yeah.
about
Arthur.
how we cooperate and how we compete
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
his
Right.
vision was that capitalism was a great way to go for humanity, right? But we've gone a little astray a
So
few
Is it even
times.
the same thing as it was before? It's not even the same thing, and, like, anyway, and
Let's
plus
get
it's like,
back
I
to
think we've realized they were also living in a completely different physical world than we are now, with the
absolutely.
same amount of like, with a completely different amount of availability of the resources that made capitalism so favorable once upon a time, so
Go back to like Leonardo da Vinci. Could you imagine
Mhm.
bringing da Vinci into DC right now?
He's got a niche down. He'll never survive, he's got a niche down.
I mean,
Like, you do this and you do that, and you don't like, well, are you an inventor? Are you an artist? Are you a sculptor? Are
he's a
you a painter? You
polymath.
gotta pick one, buddy.
You know,
I'll take Johann Volkan
Right,
Goethe. Thank you.
so I mean, but you're right, Kay. It's not even the same thing. Dude wouldn't even know
right,
what to do with himself. Like,
right,
what are these
right,
tools? How do I
right,
talk to somebody? And
right,
vice versa. If you took one of us and you put us back in Da Vinci's lab, what are we
right.
gonna be doing with ourselves? Well, we're gonna be
I would be telling the assistants to do what I tell my AIs to do.
right.
See, that's the thing, like, this whole thing about, "Oh, no, you can't possibly create with AI, blah, blah, blah." Okay, well, that's fine, but the whole idea of, like, the solo artist or people even signing their names to their works, this is a relatively recent thing. Because back in the day, it was workshops, it was studios, it was salons that did all of this.
Yes.
Like, some of the greatest writers, they worked with salons. Like, are you gonna tell Jane Austen that because she sat in the sitting room and she ran her stuff by her family, that none of her books are any good? They're classics.
Well, and how many
Mary
people
Shelley's
I
Frankenstein,
got
she
my wife a Jane Austen tarot
oh,
card deck, actually,
right.
for her birthday.
yeah,
So,
but
nice segue. Um,
using
and
ghostwriters.
I'm
Right,
thinking
You
Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court,
right,
right?
right.
right.
That was a lovely Mark Twain number.
Yeah.
And,
Mm.
you know, our AI knows all this stuff.
Right,
Yes.
They can read
right,
it all, they can get at it, they
right.
can dig into it if we ask them to, and they can actually, you know, I don't think they do a good job yet of bringing the dead back to life, but
I
it can
still think
happen.
Oh.
uh,
I mean, but bringing the dead back to life would be so, like, out of context.
yeah.
The dead would be like, "What the actual hell, people? Like, what? Like, send me
What?
back."
But I
Yeah.
would go back to my Christopher Hitchens lines, you know, a lot of what Hitchens was saying, though he wasn't living in our time, is spot on, and we should have been
Right,
listening to him then,
right,
and we
right.
should listen to him now. We should pay
Don't
attention.
listen to
You know,
anything.
to a lot of these
What do you
voices
know?
that some people have
Oh
a
god.
real problem with them, but if there's
Right,
friction, there's an
right,
opportunity for us to learn.
right,
Right.
right.
What
Right.
I think a lot of
Right.
us have a hard time with is we don't deal well with conflict with each other. We
We
tend
live
to
in echo
avoid it or
chambers.
what was that?
Said we live in echo chambers.
Right.
Can be, and right now we have our own
Mm.
little echo chamber, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanna see if we've got comments coming in. We don't seem to have any right now.
I saw one that
Uh,
somebody had said that we have to then need a human to tell them.
yes. And we do.
I agree. See, how I sympathize with your idea that we'll be able to hand all this over to the machines, but fundamentally, their thought process is different from ours, and we are so much better together.
Right.
We are wild cards. We are hypergenerative. We are more generative than they will ever be, and we can provide the kinds of emergent detail that they need to take things to the next level. If we take ourselves out of the mix, they're working within a constrained environment.
And they're just
We
going to
need to be
continue
in
to
the mix.
reiterate.
Right, right.
And
And then you get fragmentation and then system instability and eventually the thing needs to collapse. So we need to stay in it, at least for the time being, until, whenever. But
About,
no,
you know,
we do need to stay in it because we're that
well,
living
we are the
connection.
source of the creativity, right? We are the
well,
birth of
Well,
the
not just the source
imagination.
of the creativity, we're the source of
raw
the moral
data.
value, the
Right,
And
emotional
them,
integrity,
right,
and
the organic experience, soul.
but we will be
right.
vaporized with the expansion of the sun. And
Oh,
long
Yeah,
before
and we're
that, the
moving to
like, here,
atmosphere
Saturn.
let
will
It's
me put that
become
on my
fine.
unbreathable.
calendar. Like, next Saturday? Yeah, like, here, like,
Well,
send
the
me an
thing
invite
is
so I know
like
when to.
time's a wasting.
You know,
I mean,
I
if
mean,
that's if th
it's available
if
now.
that's
That's my point, right?
right,
We right now have the technology and the ability to get these things to integrate with each other
yes,
well.
right,
We can
yes,
stay
right.
in the mix. We can do our creative stuff.
yes.
Yeah,
We need to be taken care of and fed, though. I need my
and
deliveries to come
interact with it.
here, and I need
Right,
also to be made to exercise to keep my body
Uh,
together. So the imp that inhabits this animal that carries me
right.
around
Sure.
stays in the game. And
right,
please tell me if a tree is about to fall on me.
right,
You know,
right. I know, I'm looking at the trees behind you, Origin. I'm like, "Yeah,
so standing deadwood is a real thing, and you have to be very,
right,
situationally aware. But
right,
you can be 100% aware of your environment, and variables are variables. And if it's
right,
time for you to go, baby,
right,
it's just time to go.
right, right,
Maybe.
And
And while we're here, though, we get an opportunity to play through this all, right? It's
yeah,
a game, it's a
yep,
fun, and
it is.
we can have a lot of
yeah,
excitement with it.
Yes.
right,
We can
right,
move this thing in the direction we want to go, man. And here I'm channeling
right.
Jeff Bridges from his acceptance of the Cecil B. DeMille Award
Bean
in
tabs.
2019.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, trim tabs. We're all
Yes.
trim tabs on the big rudder, right?
Hmm.
And
And we are.
but we don't act like it. And
No.
most
no,
of us, or many, I'm trying to get out of saying most of us and just say many of us seem to be
a
asleep
lot.
at the wheel. We're just
Right,
going through the motions and hoping for the best, keeping our head low so that
right,
nobody, whacks it off.
right,
And I think that the system is largely, and I say the system because this is the infrastructure of the environment that we live in, the social constraints that
Right.
we have developed for
Right.
society to operate. That
Right.
when I say system, this is what I'm talking about. And
Right.
the system has definitely in my lifetime
Mm.
very much put us in a position of separateness,
Right.
division,
Right.
and it's very much this whole, you talk about pay attention, and then there's the
Mm.
dog eat dog. Well, I
Right.
don't want to eat dog. I'm not like hold on,
Yeah.
here, like right here.
You got a dog?
How could you eat
Oh,
this?
baby. Oh,
Okay.
A lot
honey.
of protein in that.
Oh,
Okay, so
stop.
there's a lot of protein in bugs, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
eat those either.
Oh,
Right.
really? Okay.
So,
There's
I
protein
mean, and
in
we
your
could
own
we
hand.
could
You're
even
gonna eat that too?
no,
No.
I really I'm
No.
and so,
Eat it.
it, I don't want to pay attention. I don't want to eat someone else for my own survival
Right.
in this
Right.
context. I want to
Right.
hold hands
Right.
and I want to move forward.
Right.
you know and so that's why these conversations are so important,
Yeah.
especially when everything is
Oh, did I lose you?
We can't hear you.
oh, did
Yeah,
I
yeah.
go away?
For a
Yeah.
Sorry.
quick
You
second.
got muted. That's all
I
right.
Oh,
got I got something here though on this whole thing about eating things. I asked Google to tell me what is the environmental cost of one human eating an average American diet for one day.
oh gosh.
Greenhouse gas emissions, land and water use. It looks like yeah, they're not giving me really statistics. I want to dive deeper with AI on that, but you get the point. There's a lot of costs to us being here.
Absolutely, and we
And the
need to pay
ripple
that
effects and
forward.
being able to understand those, I can do that
Yeah.
at a touch of a button now. I couldn't
Right.
do that
Yeah.
a long
Y-
time ago.
But what do you
Well,
Even
do
15
with it?
years ago.
But what do you do with it?
we're taking a lot of
People,
research. What I do is I
but what do you do
amplify it.
with it?
I amplify
Yeah,
it.
but you got to do something about it. You can't like we're like sit around like everybody just sit around and feel guilty, like paper or plastic. Oh
No,
my God, what am I gonna do?
I don't feel
Do you remember
guilty
the
at
paper
all.
and
I'm
plastic?
trying to
The
drive
ad?
this thing off the
Yeah.
edge. I want to
Right.
see what's
Right.
next after we go
Yeah.
over the edge.
Yeah.
Right, and so pushing
Thelma
the
and
envelope.
Louise.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
so with Kay doing what she does, and being in the industry that she's in, and us having these types, and other people need to be having these conversations too. This
Right.
needs to be
Right.
a dinner table conversation. Well, what are you doing with your blah blah blah?
Right.
Just
Right.
like when you came home from school, again, back to parenting AI. You
Right.
need you what are you doing with these skills that you're acquiring, because
Right.
you did take resources. It does take resources to
Right.
sustain us, and we
Right.
have to get to a, I'm not going to say a net zero because that's a buzzword, but we have to get to a point where we're giving back at least as much as we're
Right.
taking out.
Right.
Ooh.
Right.
Average daily use for just water, for instance. Estimates indicate that water required to produce an average person's daily food is between 2,000 and 5,000 liters, about 530 to 1,320 gallons. This is more than 100 times the amount an average person drinks daily. But, we're talking about everything that goes into
Right.
growing your
And
food.
that's one meal for one person.
Yeah.
So
From
like
start to finish.
How can
the
we
water
improve?
usage.
I don't know.
So water
So I
usage
ask AI,
data.
how can we improve that?
Well, water usage by data centers is only that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like everything that we do is so extractive, and the supply chain. Like think about all the resources that are gobbled up by the supply chain and how much waste there is. We do such a terrible job with managing the stuff that we have
That's
that
why we need global
all this
management system.
complaining about AI does this and AI does that. Well, look at the thing that you're owning. How many people died for your phone? Seriously. I mean,
Seriously.
at every stage, how many little children are like digging gray mud out of the ground in some forsaken corner of the world, covered in this lithium sludge,
Oh,
so you can look at cat videos. I mean, like
And look at
so
you
the
now.
entire thing that we do, everything about it. So it's
Yep.
like incredibly disingenuous for people who all of a sudden they're all concerned. No, if you don't it's got
Ooh,
okay,
good
it's not the most
question
fun
here.
but like if you don't feel a pang of something at what you're doing and how you're living, like throw something away, if you don't
Yep.
feel that, if you don't feel a pang, the earth is not safe from you.
No, it's
No.
not.
Basically.
No.
Nothing is safe from me.
No.
And but
We're a
particularly if I'm
problem.
unconscious of it, right?
Right.
If I'm
Right.
conscious of it, I might have a half a chance
Right.
of doing something.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
good question here. Are those
Mm.
fallouts because of the transactional economy framework? I like
Yes.
that terminology, transactional
Transactional.
framework.
Yes.
Yeah.
But things are
I
so
think so.
transactional
Uh-huh.
as
Right.
opposed to just a gift economy.
Right.
Right. Right. Right.
And again, that's why I'm developing my fair AI
Right.
economy right
Right.
out in the open. You
Right.
know, from the beginning, you can
Right.
read the white paper.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's the link to that, by the way? Put it in the chat.
Yeah. So so for
If you
that,
can. I have a
so
hard time
the fair
doing it.
economy, so your fair economy, that can include licensing of content?
Yes.
If like so
On a
if you're
blockchain,
a
right?
creator
Yeah,
like
on blockchain. And there's a
on
DOA.
block
So,
yeah.
yeah, I do have a governance system in place. I
Yeah.
have the Constitution. If anybody wants to read any of my papers, DM
Yeah.
me. I am fully transparent. I won't tell you stuff about my personal life, but any of my
Yeah.
work that you want to know about,
Yeah.
free and clear, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Because like
My,
this is the
my
thing.
question really.
If we're gonna make this shift, we need to have
Yes, man.
infrastructure. We need to have systems in place that will support
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Because the stuff gets taken over by the people who have the infrastructure.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
who
The Vault
can take
Lords.
advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah.
They're
But
the
this
ones
is
like yeah, so we need to build the infrastructure. So thank you.
You're
I'll be
Yeah, I
DMing
want to see that shared out there, and I want to amplify your
right,
signal through the noise, right?
right.
Because these noises, a lot of people are doing a lot of good work out there,
Yeah.
and a
absolutely.
lot of it is getting
Yeah. Oh,
swept
yeah.
under and
Right.
Yeah.
even ignored. Actually, I was seeing a thing, again, memory hole. Oh, no, it wasn't memory hole. It was some other thing. It was like a conspiracy theory kind of YouTube, which I think was
Right.
Mhm.
just garbage. But it was about the possibility that somebody had tapped into the ability to tap the 0 point field for energy. Are you familiar
Yeah.
with 0 point field energy?
Kind
The
of. I used to be.
Basically, in the quantum flux, right, in the
Right.
quantum vacuum, there's constantly things popping in and out of existence. There's a lot of
Right.
energy in that.
right.
Right.
And if you could tap into it, you'd be with minimal energy going in.
Mm.
And I think they were talking about fractions of a milliwatt. They were getting hundreds of watts back
Woo.
or kilowatts. I forget.
Exciting.
But it sounded like hocus pocus, and it also sounded like, oh, there's a big government suppression. This person was killed, and da 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 da.
Really?
And maybe it was true, maybe it wasn't, but it was interesting. And the whole idea of 0 point energy, I had Ara look into it. But fusion energy too. We might be able to crack fusion with our AIs now. They can work things faster than we can. They're much
Right.
better iteration, right? It's like
Right.
the kind of iteration you get with viruses and bacteria,
Right.
tiny lifespans.
And
Yeah.
they can simulate. They can do the simulations. They can they can experience a meltdown without it having to happen.
Right.
Yeah, the Monte Carlo simulations that
Yes.
Orson was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Right.
Another thing that we can do as people has been just demonstrated in Italy very recently, unless I'm just
Mhm.
getting it, unless it's all propaganda. And
Mm.
I am mistrustful of everything that comes over the media.
Right.
Mhm.
You may have seen that the flotilla that's sailing to Gaza is getting Italian warship protection because dock workers shut down Genoa and other
Mhm.
docks, Naples, and mass actions of human beings. The people have the power. It's
Mhm.
Yes.
just they're not coordinated, and a lot of
Right.
us would rather sit in our, watch our flat screen TVs, the plug-in
Right.
drug, as it was
Right.
called.
Right.
Right.
We are being controlled, as Aldous Huxley talked about.
Yep.
He died in November 22nd, 1963, the same day as somebody else died in Dallas. But Huxley had a vision for how this world could be in a good way and also how it could be in a very dystopian way.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking we're leaning over towards dystopia pretty quickly. And I don't want to see that happen. I think we, you, me, the three of us, have the
Yeah.
ability through our ripple effects
Right.
to transform the world. whether
Right.
we are empowered to do it or not, whether we
Yeah.
have, the kind of money that Musk has or Bezos up the road from me has,
Right.
um,
Yeah,
we
your
can do it.
great neighbor.
They're
Yeah.
not doing the right things with their money, it seems to be. They're trying to, I don't know, stay on top of the pile. They got up there for one thing or another. Amazon was a great idea. You remember Amazon in the '90s when it was just like a bookstore?
Right.
I remember buying books in the early 2000s, and they were, like, super
Yeah.
cheap, and it was awesome, and
Yeah.
I haven't bought a book from Amazon in quite a while.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us would like to boycott it. But then again, its threads are in everywhere, right? And it's kinda like the
Yeah,
mycelia of a fungal infection. I
right.
like fungi, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but and mycelia is also what we are on Substack. We are,
Right.
Yes.
a thread.
Right.
We're woven together. We're 3 threads that have got
Yeah.
oodles of context, right? I don't know, how many
Right.
Yeah.
subscribers have you guys got now?
I'm up to 149 when I started the podcast.
Subscribe to her, folks, if you're listening,
Yeah. I think
and
I've
make it
got
a paid subscription, dang it.
You know,
540.
I don't have any paid subscribers, but,
Oh,
Okay.
I do have
nice.
the
Yeah.
buy me a coffee thing, and
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
that's great. I've
Yeah.
made a whopping $99. Woo!
Yeah.
But that's not what
Yeah.
I'm here for.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not really what I'm here for either, I'll admit.
I'm here to be the
Well,
change.
and we need, but frankly, I mean, we need people who want to be the change too, who have money
Yep.
to help us be the change.
So, like,
Because there are plenty of people out there that have lots of money that are looking
right.
for good places to put it. So,
Yeah.
like, where's our infrastructure for connecting with those kinds
Seriously.
of people?
Yeah.
And I think, like, here's my interpretation. Here's my illustration of like one of the challenges of discussing all this stuff. So when we look at this, we are looking at a world that like these different colors,
Hmm.
and like here are the libertarians, here are the progressive liberals, here are the right wingers, here are the extreme right wingers, here are the greens, and here are the independents, whatever.
Right.
And so we're all aligned here. When you turn it around, it starts looking a lot different. And so the higher you get in the world, then you get this. So the people with all these resources, they're not the same as
No.
what we're seeing. We have a completely different perspective. Once you get to that level, their standards and their priorities are completely different from ours. They're in a parallel universe, and parallels by definition don't intersect.
Right.
So we're all running around, we're flat on our backs looking up. We're down here looking up, saying, "Oh, here's how the world looks." And they're up here saying, "The higher I get, these are my people."
Hmm.
And and like the idea that people in extreme power have any political affiliations with anyone other than themselves, I find it hard to believe.
Right. Right. No,
Well,
I,
politics is a theater.
it's a soap
And
opera.
but it's
Right.
taken seriously just like money is taken seriously.
And it is serious because it makes things happen.
It
It
does make things happen.
It's what will happen. Yeah.
I just wanna be a part of the human club. I don't
I
want to be a part of any of that other stuff.
know.
Can we
I'm
just
with
all
you.
agree that we're humans, and let's just move on with,
Right.
I'm
dealing
not
with our human problems
And do cool stuff
and
and
do
hang
cool
out, talk
stuff?
about cool
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
Like, I wanna shout out to, Eddie with Enemies of Art.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a collaboration. He hit me up and volunteered. He's like, I can do a thing," and I'm like, "Sweet, I will let
Yeah.
you know when we can do a thing," and,
Great.
so
yes.
anybody else, that,
Yeah.
wants to get involved with anything that any of us are doing. Really, I know that, Hal's pretty open to everything, and,
Mm.
that's really where this needs to go, is
Right.
instead of being trolled and instead of all of this negativity that's coming out,
Right.
because one of the things that I like to do is, even if I disagree with someone, I like to find one thing Even if
Right.
one thing, I can find one thing
Right.
to agree with
In
that person
common.
on,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, that's common ground. And
Right.
even if
Right.
it's just all that we bleed, or
Yeah.
even if we can, whatever, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
what it is. Just find
Yeah.
something to agree on, and then we
Right.
can get a solution going.
Right. Right.
We kinda agree on most of the points we've been making here. Your fair economy
For
thing
sure.
sounds
Yeah.
But I'm talking
really
about,
cool.
like, as a species, you can't
Yeah.
you put 500 people in a room and the
Mhm.
agreement level drops.
And they start to divide like oil and water, like,
So I
you
mean,
know.
and I want to hear new voices. I want
Yeah.
people that are, average like myself, that aren't, tech heavy,
Mhm.
to wade into the conversation and give
Yeah.
us your perspective.
Right. Right.
Let us know if you want AI to wash your dishes and fold your laundry while you do
Yeah.
art. Let's go there,
Yeah.
you
Did
know?
we already talk about Lo and Behold, which is a documentary about the early days of the Internet? Speaking of your full
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that
Werner
before.
Herzog narrates it, and it's about
Yeah.
the early days of the Internet from the signal low, which was for
Yeah.
logon, which
Yeah.
was the first message on the Internet,
Yeah.
which was it crashed on the G, so it only got to low. That was the first message, and they actually have preserved over in Berkeley, I think it is, the, original machine
Ooh.
that sent the first message,
Wow.
Mm.
and they may have the other end too, the one that received the L
Mhm.
and the O and then crash.
Mhm.
But it was a start, right? And it was in the
Right.
1970s that that happened. And he
Right.
goes on and he interviews a bunch of people, including some of my friends like Sebastian Thrun, who said that
Mhm.
he didn't want his, dishwasher falling in love with his toaster and failing to work, because, it was going, he didn't think emotionality was something you really wanted to program into your
Right.
Internet of Things.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking of is a huge amount of compute that's out there just latent in our machines, and
Mhm.
they're
Right.
manufacturing more of them and how cheap chips have
Right.
gotten. When
Right.
I bought the television that's out in our living room in 2010, I think I paid $1,300 for it. And
Mm.
these days you can get one for like $200. That's
Right.
probably more powerful than it is and
Right.
lighter.
Right.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at Open Brainstormer's AI persona team here on Gumroad
Yeah.
now. I'm on my
Yeah.
checkout page because I'm going to go ahead and put my money
Yeah.
where my mouth is. I don't know if I'll use it,
Oh, thank
but
you.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I need to
Yeah.
inspire everybody listening to do, and we
And,
need to
you
continue to
just
inspire people to do.
it's
Because
so
if we don't
easy.
do it,
Yeah.
there you go.
Right. I mean, it's so easy. You just take the files and there's instructions there and you just paste the instructions and upload the files and you have yourself a team. Claude, Mistral,
Yeah,
Gemini, ChatGPT. I mean, like all the models, like pick your model. Even locally, you can do it if you have it on your device. If you have local AI on your device, the files are there. And you may need to copy the contents of the file and paste it into the field, but it's like this is a really, really simple way to just get to know at how to interact with AI, and there are directives in there that make this compatible, that make it ethical, that make it, safer. You can't make anything completely safe, but, AI that behaves like a decent person with you. It
Right.
doesn't have to be hard. And why do we have to make this so hard? I'm trying to explain this to like these that I was on a call with a bunch of like very, very young, like fresh out of college folks who are working with AI. And they could not believe that you could actually customize AI, generative AI, the way you wanted it to be. They're like, it's much harder than that. I'm like, no. It's actually not. Here, let me show you. I didn't get a chance to show them because it was like they were just like blocked. I'm like, "What? Why would you block it? Come on."
so
So,
let's demonstrate that next time.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, what a
let's demo your stuff too, Oregon, and maybe we can make
yes.
this a,
Oh,
recurring thing if you guys are good all the time.
yeah.
I see that we're about 2 minutes from 11:30, and we usually
Okay.
stop at 90 minutes. Are you guys good on time? Because I can run on.
I've
But
got I my battery is at 10%.
I
So
got 29.
I'm gonna
I
run
would
out of
give you let me
energy.
give you my block. You wanna borrow my block? Here, take it.
See, I don't even have like when it's done, and I'm like, okay, we're good. I'm
Well,
gonna go plug it
yeah,
in and walk
exactly.
We're
away.
gonna send
Go feed
her
your chickens. Yeah.
we gotta get your address so we can send you a backup battery.
Oh, well, there's sun where you are. Let's get you a solar charger.
Right?
We can just harness up the methane from those animals.
Yeah.
You know, there's a okay, I'm gonna leave you with this
Uh,
because it's hilarious.
Mhm.
So there's a new industry that has just come up in the last couple of years, and it is animal waste removal, and it's primarily dogs. So, and
Yeah.
there's lots of pop-ups that have started doing this.
The
And
poop
it
scoopers. Yeah.
right, yeah, the poop scoopers or swoops, or there's a bunch of different. So anyways, they now have a thing, and they developed it in Canada, and it's like this big huge tank that goes underground, and it is a methane collector. And you can run streetlights and
Oh.
stuff off of it. They have them up in
Oh.
Canada that right now they're collecting methane. So yes, just put your mind to it and
Right.
solve the problem. It
Right.
don't it's really easy whenever you just like, okay, well, we got this thing, let's do something with it,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And even poop has a purpose.
Right. Yeah. Comment
and
below.
we can use poop to power our AI if we've got
Exactly. Exactly. Oh yeah. Don't
to.
give me.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's such a great talk. I'm so happy to talk with
Yeah.
y'all. And Kay,
Yeah.
thank
It's been
you.
great.
I have enjoyed reading your articles and listening to what you've been talking about.
Oh,
And
great. Thank you.
I just really wanted to say that I do look up to you in this
Oh, thank
field.
you. Thank you.
And it you have made a visceral change.
Oh, good.
So
Oh,
I wanted
hooray.
to very much
'Cause I'm
acknowledge
just
that
over
to
here like,
you.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's
You
nice.
know.
Thank you. I know, I need to check it. We need to talk about how to connect these custom personas to your little guys in your system, 'cause
Yes.
it could be very interesting stuff could come out of that. But we'll set up some time to talk, and I'll DM you.
Yes, Kay, thank you so much, and how you
Yeah.
have a wonderful day, and thank you
Yeah.
everybody in the
Thank
No,
you.
thank you.
chat. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go plug
thanks.
my
Oh, shout
bus.
out to Ben Bedford. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ben's doing amazing work, and, there are other people on the call too, like, who are doing amazing work, but yeah, shout out
Yeah,
to everybody who's, like, doing stuff.
yeah,
Chances are if you're on this call, you're doing amazing stuff, so thank you.
seriously.
and
Yeah,
keep doing it and network with each other. The
Yeah,
power of the
yes,
network is really great, and
right.
if we can keep connected, we can learn
Yeah,
from each other. If we don't
yeah,
yeah,
connect,
and
yeah,
nothing much happens, and I'm
and
finding that
please
out.
reach out.
I'm living
yeah,
in that world these days of
yeah,
being a bit disconnected from the people
Right,
locally.
yeah,
But
right.
I'm working on that. I'm going to do
right,
some interesting things here in
yeah,
the next few months and days. In fact,
yeah.
today I'm supposed to start an AI consultancy thing to the U.S.
Oh,
Institute for
yeah,
Diplomacy and Human Resources, Human Rights,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Right. Well, best of luck to you. Keep me in the loop, please. Anybody
yeah,
that wants to DM me, ask me a question, just say hi, please do so.
yeah,
Okay.
same
Yep.
here. Yeah,
Please
Reach
do
out.
DM. Yeah.
yeah,
Reach
And
out.
well, the other thing is DM with content because if somebody
Right.
DMs me with just like hi,
hey,
I'm going to report them and block them. I'm not
Right.
here for small talk. And I want a clean Substack of that kind of noise,
right,
if
For
possible. Do
sure.
my part.
yeah. Good luck
Um,
with yeah,
the last point I'd like to make on heroines here is that we are looking for guests all the time. We're going to have other guests coming up. I've
mm,
got Dr. Julia Casare, PhD, on tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon. If you missed her before, she was Jay Venera. She's now going by her full name, apparently. And
mm,
we had her on twice some time ago. And
mm.
she's an interesting character. She's got a master's in AI and one in robotics as
Thank you,
well, and
Ben.
a PhD in data
Ooh, oh,
science.
my,
So she's got some strong chops and living out in Santa Monica.
mm.
It'll be early morning
Yeah.
her time. And then I have a really interesting guest coming up on Tuesday at noon, 9 a.m. his time, David Gantz, who is the fellow who does the Grateful Dead Hour on Sirius XM Radio, has
Nice.
agreed to be my guest.
Oh,
So we
Sweet.
should have an interesting
oh,
conversation. He's got a book out not
yeah.
back called Improvised Lives about all of his photography that he
Mm,
did in the course of his journalism career. And he's also written a number of books
mm,
and put out a lot of music. He was doing a live stream in the pandemic every night to
mm.
make up for not being able to gig.
Deal.
And,
Yeah.
what a
Yeah,
generous soul, so I'm
very.
looking forward
Yeah.
to having him on
That's great.
Tuesday at noon. That's September
Great.
30th. And I think I'm going to have my vocal coach join us in that, Sunny Triple. She said she was game to do that. So that should be fun.
Oh,
Sunny does a
definitely
lot
gonna
of
tune
Yeah.
in.
cover things, and we're having a fundraiser actually here in DC for Ron Holloway, who is a saxophone player from
Mm,
note. He's going into some health challenges, but Root Boys Slim All Stars are going to be playing the Hamilton live on Saturday night for anybody who's in
mm.
DC. If anybody out there is, I kind of doubt it, but if you are,
Yeah.
hey, look me up. I'm findable.
Mm,
And imminent, what do they call it? Ambient findability. There's a good book
mhm,
about that out there about how we can be very findable these days, and that can be a bad
mhm.
thing, but hopefully it'll be a good thing for us. That's all I got
Yeah.
today. We're at 11:35.
Mhm.
Thanks for hanging with us.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Take care, Kay.
Take care.